Everyone, I am Dr. Rebekah McKendry from Blumhouse Productions, and welcome to Texas Frightmare, presented by Arrow Video. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. You guys having fun yet? Seeing lots of amazing stuff? Yeah, this is like a kick-ass show. Welcome to the Hills Have Eyes panel. I am so excited to be here. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. If you guys listen to the Shockwaves podcast, you hear me talk about this one all the time. So when they asked me to do it, I was super stoked. So let me first bring up Dee Wallace, who is Lynn Wood in the movie. And Michael Berryman, who you all know as take the table with me. Okay, guys, we'll talk for about 30 minutes and then I'll open it up for questions, so you guys can be thinking of your questions as we are going. You kind of have to get up on the mics, like get personal with them. So, yeah. So, let me start by asking, when you first read the script, when you were first approached with the role and read the script, what were your very first reactions?
Oh my God, it's a job I could be in my first movie.
I just finished One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and I had no idea what I was going to do next. I was just glad I wasn't getting a lobotomy at the state hospital. My agent called and he says, "Hey kid, I'm going to go do this movie with this Wes Craven guy." And I go, "Same thing." You know.
Yeah. Actors are just happy for the next gig. Yeah. You know?
Now, were you all shocked by the violence and kind of carnage in it, or just kind of, you know, I'm cool with it, let's go with it?
Carnage? I don't know what you mean.
A little bit, just a tiny bit.
Probably I was. You know, it was a long time ago. But probably I was, because I was fresh out of Kansas.
Now, were you a horror fan at the time?
I'm scared to death of horror films. I am. My brother showed me The Bride of Frankenstein one night when my mom was gone, and I didn't sleep for like 3 months. I'm a perfect audience, and I think I just kind of freak out while I'm doing it, which is really good for you guys.
I used to live in the desert where we filmed it, and before that I lived in Big Bear in the mountains, so I spent a lot of time. I was in the Eagle Scout, camping, being in remote areas didn't bother me a bit. And then I met this guy named Wes Craven, who was just the calmest person in the world. And I'm going, "You wrote this, really?" He goes, "Yeah, it's based on the McBean family, etc." And I go, okay. And I got to work with the bionic dog. The German Shepherd was, what was his name?
Beast or Beauty?
Beast. It was actually the bionic dog. And he had arthritis. He was up in his years. And my dog was a German Shepherd wolf, Mishka. And she actually would stand in for him in the evening scenes. It was very cold. See,
oh my God, it was so cold.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about the shooting climate, because I heard that the desert was like hot as hell during the day and they got freezing at night.
We died during the day, we froze during the night, and every actor stayed in one trailer. Oh wow.
We didn't have a trailer, we had a motorhome.
Okay.
No. we didn't have a trailer, we blew it up at the end, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right, it was...
Yeah, and the toilet kept breaking. and that's, so I spent many nights in my car. Oh no.
Wow, so they were actually, you guys were sleeping on set, like in the trailers?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but you know, you have a lot
You were
of
shooting at night, yeah.
Yeah.
We rest between, segments of filming, and after a while, something strange happened. There became two camps: the white bread family and us.
Yeah, that's actually one of my questions. You beat me to it, sir. I was going to ask if, because you were kind of, there was this bifurcation in the script of the two clans, did you guys divide into that on set as well? You same with mutants and
No, we would get back to the hotel. I think it was the Victorville Inn or the Apple Valley Inn or something. And we had a good time. And in our time we had off, we would go to the Roy Rogers Museum. which is just
Yes.
next door, and that's about it as far as culture. But we wanted to make the film as real as possible and as threatening as possible. And we do get it. We had our just desserts, but it was just. I can watch it today. It's still terrifying. It's been around for a while.
I heard stories that running through the sand was really hard because you guys do so much running around in the desert. Was that a difficult part of it, or?
Yeah, I don't remember
No.
that part. Working with the tarantula, I do.
Yeah, I have that on here. So I've heard stories as well that scene was not exactly in the script, that they just found the tarantula and then they were like, "Hey Dee, you're performing with the tarantula."
And then, so I asked all the blonde questions like, it's not gonna bite me and it's not poisonous and it's not gonna hurt me. Oh no, it's fine, it's fine. Then I find out after the damn thing was on me that it was okay because they milked it first.
So wait,
Not very happy.
they found a tarantula and somebody said, "I will milk this" on set. Wow. And then they put it on you.
Well, and you have to understand that a lot, I'm sure I'm right about this, but you correct it. A lot of the people helping us in special effects were not union.
That's true. We had to have the scene with the rattlesnake, and I used to live in that desert, and I used to shoot pool and hang out at real dives. I mean, serious dives. And that's where production went to find a snake wrangler. They said, "Hey, we need a rattlesnake in this movie." And so they went to this bar in the middle of the desert, and some guy goes, I can bring you a rattlesnake. These are locals living in the Mojave Desert.
I got a snake!
And he brings the snake to work. And it was a Mojave green. There's sidewinders, there's the Pacific Diamondback, there's a few other pygmy rattlesnakes, and then there's ones that sort of shimmered green. They're a neurotoxin and a muscle toxin. They're like a cobra bite. So I am aware of this fact, and we're having lunch one day. We're sitting in a ravine, and they put monofilament through its jaw so it couldn't take a big, attack toward you. And he put it in he put ice around it. Well, it was a hot day. He went to get his lunch, and it got loose. And I believe Janice picked it up and brought it back.
Janice Wood.
She did. And I asked the guy, why did you bring a Mojave green for crying out loud, let alone a snake? Who are you? And he goes, it's my pet. Oh, really?
I mean, we
could
probably
have died.
have thousands of these stories on this set. Everybody gets shot, and you have to work with squibs. So they're supposed to attach squibs on you that blow when you're supposed to get shot. Well, there's a huge art to attaching a squib and working with squibs, which many of these lovely people that helped us were doing their best job, but they didn't know how to do it. And one day my makeup was going over, and Virginia went in my place to do her close-up, and the squib wasn't tied down, and it went off and really hurt her
In the makeup chair?
badly. No,
Well,
she
in the
was
scene when
shooting
she gets shot.
in place of me because my makeup was taking longer. So they decided to do her shot first. And, it's like, well, make sure and watch because you could develop cancer from this and stuff like that. So it was like, it was kind of a horror show on a whole other level.
But when the squib is a little explosive device, and it's on a pad, and it's supposed to be really tight against your body, because if it's not, it can slap back and bruise you. And also if it's not in the right place, especially when she gets pushed back into the couch, her body readjusted, so when the squib exploded, something happened. It
exploded on the nipple of her brow. And so it became a really scary experience for everybody on the set. You think acting's fun, don't you?
Wait a minute, I remember us having a masseuse and a shiatsu.
Yeah!
You have lobsters every day, right?
Pedicure.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the heat, because I heard that it was just unbearably hot during most of those scenes. So how did you do resets, the makeup? Like, what effects did the heat have on the shoot?
I think mostly energy.
It was brutal. I cannot dissipate body heat, I cannot perspire. And it's very, very dangerous for me. And at the time, I was younger, I was in great shape, I could run around and all that, but I let Wes and Peter know. I said, I was born in Premium 48, my dad was at Nagasaki and Hiroshima, so he came home glowing. So to make the connection between, that's why they made the movie Godzilla. Stuff happens when things get glowing. So I was born with a lot of issues. So craniectomy. I had a haircut when I was 5, but it saved my life. Okay, they made a puzzle, put it back together. They did it right. My dad told me one day, he's looking at my report card, and he goes, "You can get better grades. You have a really good brain. I've seen it." So
You're really smart.
thank you. The $20 I gave you to say that, but no, actually, I went there to say this, because if you have any friends that aren't wearing hats, like you guys that have haircuts like mine, wear your sunscreen, yes, but also remember the long rays of the sun penetrate your skull and they heat up your brain. So if someone is like a little incoherent, it could mean they're having onset of heat stroke, which is also very bad for your heart. So I made sure our first aid person,
Did we have one?
I think he was our caterer also. I just said, hey look, once in a while come up to me and talk to me, and if I'm not real sharp as a tack, then you sit me in front of the air conditioner, which
Did we have one?
it's called drive down the road, stick your head out the window.
I think the trailer
Ice.
broke right away.
Oh, Lord.
It was, let's put on a show, that the whole production.
Yeah, was there a sense of camaraderie of we're going to get this done no matter the odds or the elements?
Oh,
You
yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
The actors have to bond together when, we're holding each other up.
Now talk a little bit about Wes during this entire thing, because obviously if there's kind of this many issues going on set, there's somebody that has to kind of inspire you to stay there and keep the whole puzzle together. So was that Wes?
No. I mean, I'm sure he helped, but I don't. Wes was just really quiet. He used to be a college professor. He was really quiet and just kind of kept to himself, in my memory.
Here's how
Anyway.
quiet Wes Craven is now. I went to his service. They had a memorial at the Directors Guild a while back, and his son Jonathan told a story how when they were living back in the Northeast, Wes got a call from a friend that it was president of the Audubon Society. He said, "Wes, would you like to go up early in the morning and we're going to go bird watching?" And Wes goes, "Sure, I'd love that." So they get up really early to get to this certain place, and they're all set up. And the gentleman takes out his binoculars and goes, "Now Wes, take a look over here. It's a thus and such a bird." And Wes goes, "Just a minute. A pair of opera glasses." So that's how nerdy Wes was. But God bless you, Wes. I mean, Wilson, one of the most gentle,
Oh, yeah.
quiet.
But not a cheerleader.
Not sure.
Not a cheerleader.
The cheerleader
It's all,
was-
come on, we can do this now.
Peter Locke was more of a cheerleader.
Yeah.
He also played Mercury. "I'm Dodo, I see you. Maybe I make a joke like Lester and eat a toast." That's what he sounded like. And then
He was also our producer.
yeah, I forget.
Just saying.
Now, was he still very vocal in what directions he wanted you guys to take, like characterization and things like that, since he was so kind of subdued on set? How did he push across what he was feeling in the script to you guys?
Well, for me, he wanted Pluto to be very fiery, quick to the temper, things like that. So when I had the altercation with my brother, and he goes, "Hey, Pee Wee, wait, you're a man." I get all mad, and I chop up the trailer. We only had one trailer, so we had to do it with Eric Sarakian, our DP. He had a guy behind him holding the handles on his belt while he has the camera, and we're moving around. So you got to understand, if I'm going to destroy anything, we don't have a replacement part, so you have to have good lighting, and so you choreograph the moves. So I'll never forget, there's a moment where I'm attacking Suze Lanier and Brenda, and then Morris pulls me off. And when you see the scene, all of a sudden my head wipes the lens. Well, we timed it, but in the heat of the moment, I pulled back too quickly, and I bumped the back of my head into the lens cap, which is metal. So I have a cut in the back of my head, and our camera operator had a big shiner. So yeah, we suffered for our art. And, it's true. It's true.
Was it really difficult shooting in the trailer? Because you don't notice it on film, but whenever you're shooting in a confined space like that and so many people are on set, it's like damn near impossible.
Oh, it's crazy. And you know, on a bigger budget, you have a breakaway set where you can, like in Cujo, in the car, they had one where we saw it if they could get, but no, not
on the film.
No, we just dismantled it as we went. and
have the boom guy trying to get live sound. You really want live sound because it
sounds better.
It's yeah. And then I remember the first time I was on a set, they said, "Okay, quiet, room tone." It's just the ambient sound. So I think we got pretty lucky with the dialogue, and you can hear it all really well. And so to answer your question, I talked to Wes. Now, when Pluto goes into the trailer before he attacks Brenda, what would Pluto take? And so I made a reference. I told the camera operator, I said, when I reveal the refrigerator, I will only take the things that are cannibal that the Hills people, Pluto, would take. And I take the meat, I take the bullets, I take the hatchet, all that kind of stuff, but I make a visual reference to the door, and there's a red and green apple and some soda cans. We would have no use for that. You know, so those are some of the things that I brought to Pluto's character to make him real. And then real quickly, there was a scene where Wes and we had a disagreement where I have the binoculars and I go, "They're trapped good, easy pickings now." And then he said, "Take your knife, and this is a real threatening moment, and I want you to go shh, 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 on a rock, and then off you go." And I go, "Well, that's Pluto wouldn't do that. It would dull the knife. Pluto's knife would be razor sharp." He said, "No, but Michael, I need this for the..." And that was the only time we kind of disagreed. And I go, "No, I said I could maybe do this or something." And he goes, just do it and go." You know, so I tried to make it as real as possible.
Heidi, you're a mother and you have to protect your child. That was my direction.
She kicked my brother in the nuts.
Yes! Because mothers can also be mothers, you know.
Now, there was so much action in this and so much kicking in nads and various other punches and things like that. Did you have a lot of stunt people on set? Or
What's that?
talk about doing the stunts yourself.
Thank God most of us were trained.
Yeah.
Most of the actors on that set were trained actors. You know, because I'm telling you, we did it. We did it.
Robert Thompson. There are two scenes specifically where there are stunt actors. So when Papa Juke is being dragged, you'll see the guy rolling a lot. And he was a stunt man, and what he did, he had pads in all those spots, and then he would roll to be on those skid pads, and he really sold it. The other one is when Papa Jupiter gets shot. Well, that was our actor, and he had done so many westerns, so when he gets shot, you notice he really whips his head violently, but before he did so, he took the dirt and put it all over him so it would come and it really sold it. It's one of the most effective gunshot scenes I've ever seen. And My favorite scene in the whole movie is when the father is talking to Grandpa Fred, and he goes, "Get your head out of that noose, you jackass. You're trespassing. You always try to scare away trespassers by trying to hang yourself. How's your family? Oh, they're fine. Like hell they are. There's something you ought to know." And he tells this crazy story.
Oh, he was.
John Stedman. Missing a few fingers, you know, and he goes, "Give me that booze." And he goes, "Well, there's this kid and all this stuff happened, and then that poor baby reference what's going to happen to your child. It's burnt to a cinder. I knew this kid had done it, so I took a tire iron and I split his face wide open." Well, how bad was it? Wait a minute, Wes. And he goes, "Wait for it. Well, what's this stuff?" "Oh, nothing. He sets you up for what?" That overcranked, through the window, drags him out, boom, 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 heart attack. Wes was a master at crafting tension.
Yeah, he was. I don't know, I did all my own stunts.
Really? Like, there's so much of people getting thrown down on gravel and rock and...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There was cactus.
I was on the floor of the camper most of the time.
You were a bloody mess.
Yeah, by the end I was.
Now, the interior of the cave itself, was that a set, or did you guys find an actual cave?
No, that's actually an outcropping, yeah, with the
We had no sets! Nothing!
It was the
We
desert.
had no toilet!
We had entrenching tools and paper.
One of the other urban legends of this movie, which I'm now guessing is true considering how kind of, do-it-yourself this film was that the dead dog was really a dead dog that you guys had found.
It's true.
It's true. That Beauty was actually
I
a
didn't
deceased
know
dog.
that.
Okay, here's what happened.
Oh, I didn't finish the picture.
Well, it was after we wrapped. After we wrapped, they had to have a scene where the disemboweled Beauty. So how are you going to do that? I get a phone call from Peter and Wes. They go, "We'll pick you up in the van." They went up to Malibu, up into the hills. And I go, "What's the scene?" He goes, "Well, we have to disembowel the dog." I go, "What?" And he goes, Barry Kahn went all the way to Long Beach Harbor. He knew somebody that worked at the harbor, and a dog had drowned. A German Shepherd, that was a real dog, had drowned. So in a hot summer day, in a van, this bloated, unfortunately dead animal was driven all the way to Malibu, and he said, "Michael, I want you," and it was, and I go, "What do you want me to do?" He says, "I want you to, and then gut it and do the entrails."
Oh my goodness.
No, you know I'm an animal.
Yeah, it was...
So here's what I did. I said, "You know what? I'm not doing that. You could have paid some money and got a prop dog." I said, "No," but I showed up. You didn't tell me I was going to have to gut a dead animal, so you have to pay my fee. You give me a check, and I'm going home. So Peter Locke took a large trash baggie and made a pop for his head and his arms, and Barry Kahn and Wes all did that. And then, it was pretty nasty, and then they set it all up, and they upchucked and the whole 9 yards. But it's about a 2-second shot. So for all of that, they could have just done a prop dog. But
Oh God, they could have bought some intros at the store.
They could have gone with K&B effects, and they could have done different. But
That sort of sums up what we all went through. Right?
Now let's talk a little bit about the release. When this film finally came out, it was met with controversy, originally given an NC-17 rating. Everybody was shocked. So being in it, what was your reaction now that it's out and you saw it?
I wish I could remember. I don't remember.
I was on.
They changed it, right?
They ended up editing some scenes out.
Yeah.
They did.
That I remember.
I was in New York, and I was on the last Morton Downey Jr. show, and we were on a panel. It's out there on the internet, and there were people that thought we should be thrown in jail for extreme violence to women and in general. And I said, look, a horror film And I'm not talking the terrible stuff that you can really see on the internet, and those people need to go away. That's a different story. And I said, look, what happens to the bad guys in these movies? She goes, well, what do you mean? I said, well, we get killed. We get our just desserts. So it's a cautionary tale. If you're going to be a hero, your family is a hero in this film. And when your husband with the mustache is stabbing Mars, that is so brutal. And then it fades to red, fades to black. And Wes's point was, if you're pushed to a certain limit, you can be milquetoast, and you can also be deadly, depending on the circumstances. So that is the moral conflict. And I believe horror films are designed to put you in a situation so you can define your personal humanity. That's why we say those things. But back when they were giving us an NC-17 rating, they gave us an X rating to begin with, actually. And
but there wasn't any nudity. Nobody ever did.
It was
nudity.
for violence.
Yeah.
It was for violence. So there was a mother sitting in front of me during a screening, and I'm dressed as Pluto, and her probably 14, 15-year-old son was sitting next to her watching the film. And when we say kill the baby, she got very upset, and she stood up in the theater and said, this movie is sick and depraved. No, I was a little younger and had a little more of an attitude, and I tapped her on the shoulder and I go, you're damn right, lady. I did not think it through, and she stands up and she goes, ah! And she runs out, and the son doesn't know what to do, and I go, I'll take care of your mom. Watch the rest of the movie, it really kicks ass. So now here I am in the lobby, and she's going, why do you make this movie? And I'm following her. Well, ma'am, because I needed a job. I built a thing. And Wes is really a nice guy. He's very calm. And I go, finally she sat down, I go, why did this movie affect you so much? And then she shared a personal story that the art imitated life, and she was like, well, you seem like a nice guy.
Wow, she must have had some life if her life imitated this movie. That's a scary thought.
Now, do you guys remember what Wes's response was to all the controversy? Because he'd been through this before with Last House on the Left.
Well, that was pretty brutal.
Yeah, that was highly brutal. And so then making this, was he expecting to be met with such controversy, or was he just kind of like, meh? Yeah. Don't remember.
I
don't think
know.
I ever talked to him about it.
Now, did you have like a formal premiere with this?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. So let's talk a little bit about the longevity of the film before we go to some audience questions. When you were making it, did you expect it to kind of have the staying power that it has?
Oh my God, are you kidding?
Are you kidding? No, not at all. I was amazed that I wound up on the poster, and I'll tell you how that happened. During the filming of the movie, I'm wearing leathers over my shoulders, and they come down underneath my arms because one of the problems I had medically was I had abscesses, and I had major surgery, and then I had, another one popped up. Great, go to my doc and shoot it up, cut it up, exercise, a lot of fun. So I had bandages. If you look really, really, really careful, in one of the posters, my arms were kind of skinny because I had like 3 years worth of this, slicing and dicing, lots of fun. So I had ABD dressings under there, and I actually had to go to Santa Monica to my doc and have some work on it, and drove all the way back out to the set, and then, playing in the dirt, trying to keep clean and have it dressed well. So it was a rough shoot, but I never thought that I would, it would go anywhere. And then Peter Locke and Wes Craven brought me into a meeting, and they said, I want to tell you something, because in a SAG contract, at the end of the day, the union says you have to do so many hours. So if we were 15 minutes late, you go into a penalty, getting back to the hotel. So Papa Jupiter, Jimmy Whitworth, was right on the money, and he dinged them every chance he could. But if you ding one actor, all of the actors got a bump. And so they didn't appreciate that. So they said, we're going to give you $1 million worth of free advertising. I go, can I just have 100 grand instead? No, we're going to make you our poster child. So because I was putting up with my medical issues and whatever, not complaining, they said, that's how I got on the poster.
I had to work with a tarantula.
Did people start recognizing you? Because this is like VHS, by the time the VHS box covers hit, I remember that cover so vividly. Did people start recognizing you from
It's
it?
very effective. Yeah, it helped a lot. And then I started to get roles where people could go, wow, he can actually talk. No, I don't eat babies.
So let's go to some audience questions.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, over here in the corner, yes.
Are y'all really afraid of dogs, since I both had very bad experiences with dogs?
We both are huge animal lovers and dog lovers. Every dog I've ever had is a rescue. I just got my new one 6 weeks ago. Huge animal lover. Do a lot of work on behalf of animals.
Yes, I've been involved with Wolf Mountain Sanctuary for over 35 years. My dog Mishka, that was with me when we did the movie, I have her, and all my critters, I have them all cremated. All of the last 3 dogs we had were all rescues, a rescue greyhound, a rescue border collie, and a rescue blue Doberman, and they all died in my arms. Every single one.
Yeah, mine too.
So yeah, we love critters. We're not afraid of dogs. Maybe a Chihuahua. Where's your raincoat? I'll bite it.
Yes, right there. Yeah.
Oh, me?
You, yes.
Was there a diva on the set? And if so, who was it?
Well, it wasn't me.
Wait, depends on your definition of diva.
Yeah, well,
Beautiful, right?
no, I don't think that's what she means by diva.
Oh, well, then she has to explain.
No, not that I remember.
There was no Sharon Stone.
Yes, other questions. Yes, right here.
Hi, so you said horror movies terrify you. What made you sign on for Rob Zombie's Halloween?
Well, I'd done a few by then. But I wanted to work with Rob.
Okay.
And for any of you that have met him, you know what a great sweetheart he is. Beautiful creative director. So yeah, I wanted to work with Rob. By that time, you know, I'm really good at doing them because I'm so afraid of watching them. So the Scream Queen part comes really easy for me.
Now, do you have problems when you're actually shooting them as well? Like, are there scenes when you're on set that you're like, dude, this is terrifying?
Just if I don't like using guns. My father committed suicide with a gun, and whenever I'm around a gun, I make sure that one person handles it on set. I've been on sets before all the rules went in place where a lot of people got hurt. One person handles the gun. They always open the chamber and show me that there's nothing in it, always. Some jackass on The Howling decided it would be really funny to put a blank in one of the guns during rehearsal. When we were rehearsing where all the shots were going to go and I was in the car and the gun went off, they lost me for 3 hours. Just lost me. So you don't, you know.
You don't play with them. I was working with a movie with David Carradine called, I can't remember. But there's a scene where a gentleman comes around the corner and he's got an automatic rifle. And I was reloading at 12 years old with an NRA card, okay? So I've been in the military as an OCS candidate. My point is this, they're not toys. And yes, one person handles the guns and you take it away from the actor as soon as they're done. David Hexum, perfect example. Brandon Lee, my dear friend that we lost, Victoria the Crow. That happened, and I'll tell you exactly why it happened. It happened because in the state of North Carolina, they have the right to work law, the union busting states. If you live in a state where they don't like unions, you might want to talk to your representatives because we save lives with union workers. Now, after so many weeks of working in North Carolina, we had an LA armorer. We had a lot of guns, if you notice, in the Crow. And under contract with North Carolina law, it said after so many weeks of production, they can send home our armorer and we can hire a local guy. The local guy was not in control of the set, and there was a little piece of shrapnel in the barrel. So when Michael Messe pulled the trigger, we know what happened. So they're not toys, you know, and if somebody had done that, if I was there and he had done that, he would have been in the hospital. I'll just be, they're not toys.
Because, you know, even in a final rehearsal, the actors already got to get themselves into La La Land. And we have to go way, way out into places that normal people don't go to ever and never want to. So you're already in that mental state, even though you're in control, you know, and somebody pulls something like that, it's devastating to you.
Do you know how fast you can drive when you don't know where the emergency room is and you have someone in trauma or situation? It's not play fun and games. I was shot in the eye on a set. It was a blank which had the part that comes out of the barrel disintegrates as it comes toward you, and it was a Western. And I remember when they said cut, and I'm on the, I go to the ground because I get shot, and I remember the director going, "Is everybody okay?" And I go, "I'm not okay." And I go, it was the gambler. Kenny's a great guy, but the guy, it was an off-camera shoot. In other words, you don't see the gun. And here's what I hear: this big 300-pound, 6'6" guy handling the gun. All we needed to have was the sound, boom. But they wanted the sound of a live round. And he goes, "I didn't point it at you, man." And I went, click. And all I remember as I was going toward him, my dad was a physician, and I had 2 years of pre-med, and I'm going, throat, eyeball. And I was on automatic. And here's what I said. At each step, I said the following: brother. Now, the brother is your Teamsters. They call each other brothers. I go, "Brothers, grab me now." And the big guy's going, "I didn't point it at you, man." He gets closer and closer, and I'm just going, throat, eyeball. And the next thing I remember is two big guys, transpo guys, pick me up, my feet are off the ground, and they take me straight to their personal car, and they're taking me straight to the emergency room. I had powder in my eyeball, and I was not, I didn't soothe them or anything. It healed up better, but it's so funny. We're getting in the car, ready to leave, and who do you think's chasing them down? The second AD with the, "I gotta sign you out, man."
I've been on a shoot, a movie of the week I did, where the director said, "No, we want the car coming right at the camera. We want the car," and the head stunt guy went, "Dude, it's too dangerous. No, that's the shot I want." Well, killed the camera guy. So now there's a lot of rules in place because, like on Twilight Zone, they had to get the shot, and all those people died. So now there's a lot of rules that are written into.
So over your experience,
anybody have a union card?
So the sets have gotten safer throughout your careers, you feel?
Oh, absolutely. At
the expense of a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
There's a reason for unions. Talk to coal miner. I mean,
Why, as
we
an
know the
actor,
drill.
you have a right to go, "I'm not doing that.
That's right.
I'm not doing that shot."
Yeah, there's on all of our Screen Actors Guild membership cards, there's a hotline number. And if you're ever in doubt, if you know anybody that's getting into the business, if you're ever unsure for any reason, you have the right to say, "Cut, stop, wait." And they go, "Well, they will," no. The union will protect you and got your back.
I've used it several.
I have too.
Several.
Okay, other questions? Anybody? Well, I have one more. Wes Craven is one of the few directors that I would say has redefined a number of decades in the horror genre, where in the 70s he had Last House on the Left and The Hills Have Eyes, really pushing the violence card. In the 80s, he obviously had Nightmare on Elm Street. In the 90s, he had Scream. Did you guys get a sense, working with him early in his career, that this kind of greatness was behind all this? Like, did you get a sense when you were working with him what he was capable of?
Oh, sure, I did. Yeah. Again, very quiet, but knew exactly what he was doing, what he wanted, where he was going.
Wes had a very deep well. He had an inner peace that was profound. You sensed it. He also had a smile and a twinkle in his eye.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Kind of like he kind of reminds me of Stephen King. Because Stephen's very similar. He's very quiet, you know, kind of reserved, kind of shy. And then they come out with all this weird stuff. Wonder what their alter ego is living inside.
And one final question to end out the panel. What is the best response you have ever gotten from a Hills Have Eyes fan? If it's art, if it's a tattoo somebody showed you, what is like the best thing that you have seen from a fan of this movie?
Well, the tattoo, I do some ink shows. I've got some ink myself. And I remember the first time someone showed me their tattoo of Pluto, or I'm going, oh my God. And then I've actually had people say, autograph me somewhere on my body.
That would be nice.
And then they have a tattoo of your signature. So I always make it my non-legal signature. I don't want to turn someone into a check.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. The Hills Have Eyes is now available on a Fancy Schmancy Blu-ray, which I think has I think you guys are both interviewed and there's commentary on it, and you can pick that up at the Arrow booth, which is right across from the Blumhouse booth, so please stop there while you're in the neighborhood. Thank you guys so much for coming today.